Hi, Basem. Welcome to VentureVibe. It's great to have you with us today.
Hey, same here. Thank you for the invitation. Hello, Alif.
Hello again. Can you briefly introduce yourself and maybe share your Gulf region and global investment ecosystem?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the relevant information about me is that I've been in the region for around 20 years now after coming back from North America and Canada, where I was living, and came back into a very dynamic area, Dubai, specifically in the early 2000s when there's a lot of real estate, a lot of activity happening. So I've been around for the last 20 years in Dubai and focused on the real estate, health. That's where my primary focus was, and then moved into private equity investments and advisory, focused on healthcare and education. That's as soon as I finished my executive MBA, and then I've been doing that for the last 15 plus years. Last 5 or 6 years, we started doing a lot more on the VC front, which was basically focusing on edtech and health tech.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You've been both a founder and investor.
Yes, I've been on both sides of the map, and I think even what we're doing today, I think while we still do some investments, we're also still founding, trying to find ourselves. So we started an edtech ecosystem builder, which we start in 2011, sorry, 2020, 21, around Expo 2020 in Dubai. And this was around COVID, those crazy days, if you remember. There was so much madness, and EdTech was really the talk of the town because it was discovered to solve all these crazy problems that we were facing with education. And of course, the fact that there was barely any offline, if you remember during COVID, Corona, there's barely any interaction at that time. So we set up a venture studio, and then we got founded there. We had several activities, and to basically try to solve the problem of the ecosystem, which was not being built. So we came in, we started building that ecosystem, supporting the educational ecosystem through the EdTech venture builder that we set up.
Perfect. From your perspective, what makes Dubai and the wider Middle East region an attractive global launchpad for founders?
Yeah, so when we decided to launch it in Dubai, it was because it was ripe for action. Okay, Expo 2020 did help, but it was also where a lot of great minds were coming together. There's a lot of talent, a lot of great conversations happen in Dubai, and the ecosystem allows innovative ideas. You know, they love their innovation. They love their smartest, biggest, largest, nicest, newest. That's all nice and shiny and sparkly. And so they thrive on ideas, which was perfect, which is a perfect or starting point for us. And then it's good to be able to scale out of Dubai because Dubai is very well connected with the region. There's a lot of talent and investor money that comes to Dubai as well. And so from Dubai, a startup has a lot of possibilities to expand and expand quicker than other places. And that's what got us attracted. And it's also in many ways the heart of the MENA or all the Arabic countries as well. So if you look at Arabic countries from North America coming down to the GCC, Dubai is a good base to be in. And it's a good representation and expansion to the external or expanded region like Turkey and Pakistan and even parts of the South Asian peninsula as well. So that also makes it a bit of an attractive place to start.
True. And if we compare that to the past, having seen the ecosystem mature, how would you describe the evolution of Dubai and Middle East as a startup and investment hub?
Oh, it was crazy. The good old, like 7, 8 years ago, we were not calling it tech. It was back then, it was called softwares or a program or a solution of some sort. But today, the technology industry or the tech space has really evolved dramatically. 7, 8 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, there weren't many VCs that were well known. Today, there's a lot of VCs that are in the space. A lot of angel investments as well is starting to come in. Strategic, I think, thanks to a few larger transactions that were done, a lot of the families' offices also wanted to get a piece of it. So there's a lot more interest from individual or institutional investors that came in as well. And so the actual ecosystem flourished dramatically over the last 5 to 10 years. Now, in the edtech space, more specifically, while there's a lot more energy that were born from the days of Corona and COVID, the bigger challenge becomes, or came to us after two major milestones. So there was the a story around Byju's, which was the largest edtech company in the world, that kind of collapsed a few years ago, and that sort of took with it a lot of energy from the edtech space. People were worried about the space. It's also a tough space to grow in because there's a lot of regulators and a lot of border concerns. But from moving from one place to another is not as that straightforward as many other platforms. And lastly, thanks to our friends in the AI space, when they came on board and developed and made the artificial intelligence so much more accessible to the public through ChatGPT and the likes, it actually hurt a lot of businesses that were in the edtech space that were thriving or starting to really grow. So the edtech curve was really exciting. Byju's gave it a really big dip, and then of course some more world crisis, like challenges of funding slowed it down a lot because there are a lot of funding requirements. And then lastly, the AI gave it a really big hit. So what it really did is that it actually created a new level playing field, a new starting spot for companies to launch out of now. I mean, for those that were actually couldn't survive, now all the new ones are using AI. They have to grow.
Zooming into the sectors you know best, in edtech and health tech, what types of business models or capabilities do you see scaling most successfully out of Dubai into the global markets, actually?
Yeah, so I think we can't just rely on SaaS models where it's only about subscription. I think there need to be services aligned with that, and I think they have to have strategic partners as well. So meaning industry partners that are involved. We love opportunities that were born from the challenges or solving problems within schools or within universities or within the learning environment, so that they can really expand and grow faster. And so, with a global mindset, local products and companies can grow quite quickly. We like the ones that are in the individualized learning plans as well. So they got everything now has to be talking to one individual, even though you want to reach out to millions. So that's also another interesting area. And the same goes for health tech. Health tech, there's a lot of requirement for consolidated efforts to solve chronic illnesses and support in that space. We don't see a lot of medtech coming out of Dubai, or the region. But I mean, there's certainly a lot of great ideas as well. So both industries and spaces are thriving quite nicely.
Thank you. To wrap up, if a global founder is considering Dubai or the Middle East region, what's one key piece of advice or one mistake to avoid?
Okay, so it looks really nice from outside, but you come in, it's still very nice, but it's also very challenging. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of promises that sometimes don't get filled. So I think the number one piece of advice is find your strategic partners, people that speak your language, understand what you're trying to do, and then will give you the right advice in terms of, is it a good place to launch this specific idea in Dubai? Sometimes Dubai could be a very fragmented market. It could be a very small market, or the UAE specifically. I mean, there's so many different ethnicities here, and it's a melting pot for all these nationalities that are here. So it's hard to tackle them sometimes with one specific language. Sometimes you're talking to different segments and different groups, which makes it very difficult and challenging for a startup to launch, because you really want a homogeneous market that you can tackle and solve some problems for. So that's the one piece of advice that I strongly recommend that they keep in mind. I mean, we've also realized that there's a lot of hype, a lot of interesting conversations, but in the absence of a clear strategy to solve problems, there's a lot of ideas that are floating around that don't really find a future, unfortunately. So one of the things that we're also doing is we have a mother fish strategy, where we're acquiring startups and consolidating them together. So that's a different type of growth that can be witnessed. So yeah, we like that too. And good luck to all those founders that are trying to come to the region. It is still a very exciting space.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for sharing your insights and experience with us, Basem. Thank you.
Welcome, Alif. Have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
See
Take
you.
care. Bye.